this is what I think I should do. And then it sounds like you moved into a space of this is what I'm being called to do based on
Yeah.
of all these other experiences. This is really the energy that's being called forward. And then you saw this positive response, like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This kind of wisdom that was coming through me, this is the thing that actually, it's like turning the stone upside down and seeing, okay, that's where the answer is.
Yeah, I love that. And it's a lesson I feel like I keep having to relearn every year, it feels like. But this was
Right.
such a paradigm shift for me when I started farming, which was now about 13 years ago. I was 21. I had gone through the whole educational system thinking that I was doing well. Like I loved academics, I loved school, I was that kind of weird nerd. But when I got to this farm, it was the first time in my life that I was told to look not to my head for answers, but to the world outside of me. And I had never been taught to do that. I hadn't been taught how to like observe and respond and like interact with the world that way. And it feels like I keep having to relearn that through my whole life. But usually it's like, instead of concocting some grand scheme in my head that feels logically true, actually like looking at the world around me and trying to like be more intuitive and more observant and listening way more, and kind of digest. And those are all practices that I think are so helpful for tending land as well. Um,
I
but yeah.
agree. And what's interesting is, regenerative real estate is pretty unique. I haven't really met other people that are doing that. And that's exactly what I do too. And I think that's part of what, and that was different compared to what I used to do. That was a change, just like how you kind of figured that out, was to just be in a place of listening and responding and seeing, what is positively responding to these actions. And I think that's part of the regenerative path for whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's real estate, land, food, housing, any kind of product. It is, I think, at its core, a process of listening and active listening, listening to the product, listening to the land, the community, to the spirit behind everything, and saying, I'm not here to enforce my will onto this and like shape it with my will. I'm here
Mhm.
to just be a facilitator of what's already being called forward. And I mean, when did you start the Niwot homestead, Amy?